talk about this subject because we're living the human experience.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It means that we are living beings with a soul, so we can.
How do we know that?
Can you, like,
when you're.
What if we're clones? What if we're like? What if we're in a
you
simulation?
would never know.
We would never know.
What?
All we know is our experience.
I ain't no motherfucking soul.
My nigga, y'all just hold on.
Okay.
I agree with Gino.
This is
go ahead.
insane. Let me say how crazy this is. Y'all just sat here and said there's some people on this planet that are NPCs. How the fuck would anybody know that?
No one would know that.
But y'all 100% sure that you have a soul.
That you're not the NPC.
Like, how could you?
Every NPC probably thinks they're not an NPC.
Everybody thinks they're the main character. Everybody does.
I don't think
How do we? Nobody. There is no data on souls.
Hey, yo, check this out. Sean Johnson, OS Steph, Sade Renee, you tuned to another episode of the ICM. Welcome back, my nigga. Ty, what's good, my nigga? Pull the mic up a little bit, my brother.
Yep.
You already know what time it is, man. Don't be too pressed. It's your boy OS Steph. We back with another jam off of y'all.
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you,
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga. Y'all, listen, man. I'm off that nicotine for a week. First time in my life. I don't care. We started over some energy, bro. I can't control myself. My hands is doing shit, and I don't know what to do to stop it. Since I was 17, I used to be crack stick. No, man.
He called it the crack stick.
It might as well be.
Yo, deadass,
might as
bro.
well be.
Yo, I've been on motherfucking nicotine since I was 17 years old, bro. For the first time in my life, bro. I've been nicotine free for 7 days. And I guess boot camp, but I went right back to that motherfucker. You go, but anyways, yeah, like, I don't know. This feel good. I ain't gonna lie, this feel good. I got way too much energy, though. So, excuse me.
Too much?
Too much, bro. Like, I'm like ramped up. I feel like maybe I need to, you know what I mean? Just a little bit.
Nah. I say create something with it.
Oh, yeah, I'm creating something. Problems. You know what I'm saying? I'm creating something. But how everybody doing though, man? What's going on? What's going on? Man, hot weather coming up, you know what I mean? Juneteenth. Well, yeah, we in it.
It's here. It's definitely here.
Tomorrow is officially the first day of summer.
It is, right?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So, anayao, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the 21st summer solstice.
Yo, I've been hearing a lot of people, you know, like that smoke shit that happened outside.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of people getting sick from this shit. Like, a lot of people are sick right now.
Yo,
because of that shit. Yeah.
My shorty's cat died.
Really?
Yo, deadass, he was having an asthma attack. They said that they kept trying to wake him up and the nigga just died.
What?
Yeah, she all fucked up about it. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel pretty good. And I got lung problems and heart problems, so I ain't trying to hear none of that.
Yo, me and Ty were at Woodbury Commons outside breathing that shit all the fuck in. And like,
wow, I ain't gonna lie.
I was in my office and I'm like, why is the sky orange? I was just sitting there like, smells like somebody's barbecuing.
Yo,
and then next I know, like my whole office just turned orange.
And
I can see all like my office is like on the fourth floor of like a really high building, and I could see all the way across. And usually I could see the buildings like all the way across. And this day I was just like, I was like, oh, it's about to rain. The day before I was like, oh, it's about to rain. Then the next day I'm in there and it was just like, I don't know what this is. And then it just turned orange.
Yo, I was
like, it's the apocalypse, the palopolyx.
Yo, I've been thinking like, we've been getting like little clips of like the end of the world. Like, check it. Like, so like, you remember back when there was like the blackout?
Yeah.
We got a little clip of no gas stations, no gas, there's no gas. Yo, you get what I'm saying? That was like a real first clip. Yeah, of the end of the world. Looting, then you have like the BLM riots.
The riots, yeah.
Where people were like breaking glass.
It's the end of days.
Now we see like the sky orange and like, global warming coming to its like tipping point.
The vid was crazy. COVID.
Yeah, the COVID. That's what I'm saying.
The world shut
That's what I'm
down.
saying.
We could not do anything.
That was ridiculous.
The vid was fucking nuts. That's like, if you explain that shit to somebody that was just for some reason not here, you know, man, you lying. Like, what?
Yeah.
No. That shit is like,
no, but you hear stories about like the Black Plague.
Yeah, but look how far removed we're from the Black Plague.
You don't think it's gonna happen to us?
Like that shit. Like,
but why not? Like
the Black Plague seems like something that's just like I can't imagine that happening in our reality. You know what I mean?
So I think people are just like so like it's almost like the collective is egocentric. Like they feel like shit can't happen to them. But it's like birth and death is just like the inevitables of life. Like life has to the cycles. Like it has to keep going. So certain things have to like die. It's like me and this girl at work was talking about it. She was like, people hate when I say this, but it's like you can tell Mother Nature's filtering. And people don't like that. People really don't like that. But I told my mom, I was like, I know it's like hard to hear, but it's like some people can't withstand what's about to come next. Like it's what fucking Charles Darwin said, like natural selection. Like some people just can't go where we about to go. And it's like, it's sad. It's hard. I know a lot of people, like I lost people but I have a different relationship with death. So I didn't feel the way generally speaking
What's
people
your
felt.
Relationship with death? Tell us, Sade.
You don't want to know that. That's a whole nah. Okay. Death is my friend, okay? Like death is natural. Like it's the end, the beginning is just what happens. It's just what happens. Like me and that nigga dapped it up, shook hands.
Let me ask.
I'm just saying, like it's kind of like the natural cycle of life. Like y'all watch the fucking Lion King. That's what's happening. Like I feel like that's all that's happening is like these things are just filtering out, or a filtering process. Like we don't even take care of the earth.
Yo, what do y'all think? Like not to get morbid, right? But what do y'all think happens when you die?
I think we go. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like reincarnation. That's the thing. I don't know. So it makes sense to me. I feel like the deja vu, energy can't be destroyed.
Nor created. It's just recycled.
It's just recycled. Everything else is recycled. Like we pee in the toilet. Shit gets evaporated, something goes through some filtration system, goes in the air, rains
logically,
back down,
it makes sense.
Refills us back up. So we probably drink the same cup of water like 1,000 times over in our lifetime. So I don't know. I know there's a lot of knowledge that I don't have on it, but for some reason I think reincarnation is a thing.
I don't know. I feel like that. I could be wrong, but I feel like that naturally is what people think what happens. They have a theory of that.
What, you think reincarnation is naturally what people think?
Yeah, because I heard like a lot of times if people think like on the more spiritual side, or if they have like a lot of life experience, they think they just think like I come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And it's like I heard this theory on TikTok, right? And they were saying that there's only a limited slot and number of souls that can exist on Earth. Right?
Says who?
I don't know. It's just like a TikTok theory. And they said that...
It's not a TikTok theory.
Well, I seen it on TikTok and I never heard it before, so I'll say it's a TikTok theory. So, and they said that a lot of people don't have souls, meaning that they don't have like a moral compass, or... You know, a lot of people don't hear anything in their head. They don't have like... a lot of people don't like... have that conscious voice in their head, like talking to them. Like it's a thing.
I've heard that, but the way it was described to me was like on some like these people have different ways of thinking. But I don't know. That could be I don't know. But yeah, I can see why somebody would think that's just like, oh, you're an NPC. Like you're not really here. Like
I think that it's safe to say that the world is kind of like operates like The Sims. Like there's some people who carry the story along. And then there's some people who are just like background players of the story. Like, I don't think that, like, I think everybody has a different role, and I don't think any role is any less significant. So I'm not saying a person who would present as an NPC is insignificant. It's just like there has to be spectators to the game. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, not everybody's going to be the king. Not everybody's going to be the queen. Not everybody's going to be the jester. Like, everybody has their own. It's like the Power Rangers. You get what I'm saying? Like everybody played their specific role, and every role was significant. Like every role meant something to move the story along. Some people are literally just the onlookers, or the people that pass on stories, or the people that pass on. And I don't think that means, I think people get hung up on their individual significance when it comes to their role. And I think like that's why like everybody's not a fucking witch. Everybody's not a goddess.
I think there's way too many people on this planet for the majority to be like. I think the majority of us are insignificant. Like the majority, it's too many people.
I don't think so.
Think about it. So for example, right?
It boils down to what you want, though, right? Like, so
you can choose.
Yeah, like if you want to be the king, then that's the role that you are going to try to play.
You can try to play.
Yeah, there's no guarantee of it. Yeah, but you low key have to want to be the king in order to be the king.
Yeah, I agree. But
I feel like it has to be like an intuitive, kind of like pull to play a certain role.
But I get that. Like but they can be like, so let's say 30% of the population of Earth wants to be the king. I feel like 29% of them are not. Their life is going to be insignificant. Like that's a lot of people.
So this is what
everybody could want the same thing, and most likely, not most likely, it's almost definitely 100% sure, almost 99.9999% that 29% of them are not going to be successful.
So I was going to say, like you said, 29% of them are going to be insignificant.
Yeah,
no one party is insignificant. Think about it this way, right? So let's say there's one out of those 30 people are meant to be the king, right? One of those other 30 people taught that person that's the 30th person, or told him something that inspired him to go after something. You're still significant in the story. Like if you read any story, it's literally like a culmination of like all these little things that bring together, that push something forward. It doesn't matter if you're the prince or the princess or the king or the king. It's literally like it's what pushes humanity or society or the world in a direction. I feel like that the problem is people get caught up on like, oh, well, I'm just here to be a teacher. Do you know that a teacher can literally be the reason why a boy or a girl takes on a role? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like a teacher can make or break you. That's not insignificant. But in her lifetime, she may feel like she's insignificant, but she's not, because what she put in a child made that child create something that's going to change the world.
Hold on, let me say something real quick. Mm-hmm. In response, like I'm not saying that everybody what you just did was name a bunch of people that are significant in the role of in some way or form,
right?
But there's still only so many people that can fit in that story. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're talking about 30% of the world's what I'm talking about is a thing of quantity. Mm-hmm. Like, if we're talking about the world's population and 30% of them all want to be the one thing that, like, say, if we're talking about the king, this hypothetical,
not everybody's going to be the one.
There's going to be not even just the one. There's going to be a large number of people. I mean, like a ridiculous 30% of the world's population. There's going to be a whole lot of people, way more people that are insignificant than are significant.
Guess what? But those people share the story. And that way they're significant.
I think my question would be like, how do you define insignificant?
If we're talking about becoming, so wait, first off, we're going in like a weird direction. Because for the simple fact,
not even.
Yes, we are, because what she said was we're talking about some people being NPCs.
Does everybody have a soul?
Yeah, so we're talking about, so like now it's like I'm a little confused as to like, are we talking about souls or like?
It's the same thing.
It's the same
because
thing.
If not everybody have souls, then they resort into being an NPC. I mean, I said NPC.
So
like niggas making beats.
If they don't have souls,
NPC.
Even if they don't have souls, that doesn't mean they're insignificant.
That's what she's saying.
So what I'm saying is, right, if you have a soul,
listen to what she's saying.
If you were born with a soul, you have a purpose and a mission on this earth. Whatever that may be, you have a soul, purpose, mission, vision. You may have to it may take you a while to get into it. The people who don't have souls are just like these little players. You ever play The Sims and you walk around the town and it's like somebody who just, you stop them and they're like, hey, go that way. That literally could just be their role.
Right.
They're still an NPC. Their role might not be super, super significant. However, that NPC, that soulless being, still has a role within the great. Do you get what I'm saying?
So
I just don't even. I get what you're saying, but now I just don't know what we're debating. Anymore.
Yeah, no.
Like,
so people have. Does everybody have a soul or not?
I would go to say that everyone has a fucking soul.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the that's when you put your fucking token in. That's when the game starts, right? Because it's just darkness, right? We all just float around in that. That's what I think happens after death. That was going to be my answer. I think it's just dark. Around? I just think it's just dark. You go back to nothing. There's nothing, and then. There's some kind of thing that happens, and then your token goes in, and it's like, all right, now you get a vessel to move within, like blah,
right.
blah.
I think like that too.
So you get that part. So I think everyone gets one. You wouldn't be here if your token didn't go in. You wouldn't be able to play the game that everyone's playing. I think people pick and choose what they want to be. Like, yeah, you might just be. I don't think you're soulless. You might just be dumb, or you might be ruthless, or fucking. There's different things that you are, but you have a soul. You know, I don't think people pick and choose what it is that they want to do. Like if you want to be the most grimy, evil bastard ever, you still have a soul. You just like think you can do whatever it is that you want to whoever it is that you want.
Now I'm going to take it somewhere else, right? I've seen this article. It says scientists at Cambridge University have made an incredible discovery by developing an artificial human embryo using stem cells. This means they created the embryo without the usual process of fertilization, right?
Yeah.
So basically, they successfully created a synthetic human embryo without an egg and a sperm. Does this embryo have a soul?
Yes.
I don't even know what a soul could like.
Yeah, I think it's created.
What is a soul?
It's created of different means, but it's playing the game.
So this synthetic embryo is still going to have a conscience.
I believe so. I believe so. Yeah, because something that the life has to be. The life was bred into it. Like it's not.
But it's not life.
It's not of nothing. It was created.
Is a stem cell a fake cell? Isn't a stem cell?
No, it comes from
another person.
Yeah,
right?
It comes from. So now it's like it's not of the same means, but it's not like you just. It's not like a machine.
Because it's without an egg and a sperm.
But it still comes from
still
humans.
Made the process
happen. It's without an egg and without a sperm.
Doesn't have any genetic
information.
So I'm gonna read the second part, right? In its earliest stages of development, this synthetic embryo has potential for studying genetic diseases and gaining insights into miscarriages. The field of science keeps advancing and exploring new boundaries, expanding our understanding of what we thought was possible. That doesn't really say if it's fully synthetic.
Yeah,
but
I think the use of the word synthetic I don't think it's a good use of the word synthetic. Like it.
But there's no egg and there's no sperm, so it has to be.
But it comes purely. It comes from human DNA. It's like it comes from human DNA. It's not completely synthetic. Like it was just created in a different way.
I guess the question is. If sperm and egg is the ingredients to make a person, right? If you could somehow bypass those two ingredients,
playing God out here. That ain't got no soul.
And get to, I don't know.
We don't have to be professionals on it, but just thinking as barbershop talk, it's
I think about it as like you kind of like forced a soul, like. Something came of the nothingness, and it's like, hey, this is your vessel now. It's not the same as everyone else's, but it's like, oh fuck, I'm the fucking synthetic.
But what you're saying is,
you're saying that human beings can play God and create beings out of nothing.
But what you're saying is like
that's what Sade, that's what keeps us alive.
No,
because we have the ability to think in that way. Like,
so Ty,
we're not gonna succumb to nature in certain ways.
So Ty, does ChatGPT have a soul?
ChatGPT is a machine. It doesn't have a soul.
Does it have a conscience?
I do think it has some sense of consciousness. I don't think it has a soul, but I think it has some sense of consciousness.
So what is a soul?
I think it's so.
I think that's the problem with this conversation. Yeah. The whole problem with this conversation is like it's like fact. We have facts on this. We have facts on this, and then we have interpretation on one very important aspect of the question. And everybody's like, "All right, here's the ball. Do something with it." And everybody's gonna do something different with it because everybody has like. Everybody can have a different interpretation. Like, yeah, like you. No, but I would say like we don't even know what a fucking soul is.
We don't.
Yes, we do.
Yes, you know
yes,
why? We all have the license to talk about this subject because we're living the human experience.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It means that we are living beings with a soul, so we can.
How do we know that?
When you're.
What if we're clones? What if we're like? What if we're in a
you
simulation?
Would never know.
We would never know.
What?
All we know is our experience.
I ain't no motherfucking soul.
My nigga, y'all just hold on.
I agree with Gino.
This is insane. Let me say how crazy this is. Y'all just sat here and said there's some people on this planet that are NPCs. How the fuck would anybody know that?
No one would know that.
But y'all 100% sure that you have a soul.
That you're not the NPC.
Like, how could you?
Every NPC probably thinks they're not an NPC.
Everybody thinks they're the main character. Everybody does.
I don't think
How do we? Nobody. There is no data on souls.
Nothing.
There's nothing.
Really?
There's no information.
But does there have to be data on souls to talk about souls?
There are.
I don't think so.
I think there needs to be some type. For it to be a fact, there has to be a body of.
Well, I don't think any of it could ever be like factual. I think there's certain things that can be agreed on, but I don't think it could ever be proven as fact because we have no evidence outside of experience.
It's not tangible.
Yeah, it's like, it's just, there's no hard evidence to prove that.
It's like trying to hold 9 o'clock. Can you?
Yeah. Like we know 9 o'clock exists because we made 9 o'clock a thing, but how do you prove 9 o'clock? You can't prove 9 o'clock.
That's the thing. We live in this life where everything is not practical. Everything is not tangible. Everything is not practical. We live this practical life with like mystical coincidences and miracles happen as we like live life. So it's like we all have that experience. We all experience coincidences, and we all experience like shit that we can't really explain. There's a lot of shit in science that we can't really explain.
Yeah, I agree.
So does that mean we just dismiss it and we only look at science?
We don't dismiss it.
I don't think we dismiss it.
I don't think we should proclaim to be the master of knowing it.
Yeah. It's not the master of knowing it. It's just talking about it to open up the conversation.
No, we open up the conversation, but to sit here and the way I like denounce, no, y'all wrong. There's no way.
Nobody did that.
Yes, when the nigga said that he thinks that somebody has a synthetic soul, no. That's claiming to be. No, I know you don't.
You can have your opinion, but like,
so that's my opinion.
That's what I'm saying. You can have your opinion, but I don't think anybody really was like, no, you're dead wrong, no, and got really emotionally like.
No,
it's not about emotional. It's just like,
I agree, and I get what Gino's saying. I think at that point you would force a soul into a body because like we did not pick and choose how we got here or when we got called to finally like, oh shit, I'm getting one. Like, all right, whoever you are, you don't even have a name or anything like that. It's like, this one's yours. They're going to name you whatever, and your experience is going to be whatever your experience is going to be. We had no call in how we got here. So why do we think that someone, for lack of better, that fucking or anything has to do with it?
So you're saying,
like,
long story short, does consciousness automatically belong to life?
Ooh, that was a tough question.
Yeah, I got with the.
I don't know. Let me just say that I don't know. I'm just trying to open up the conversation.
I think it has to do more with an awareness of life. When you become aware that,
so all animals have an awareness of life.
Yes, yes. I would say yes. There is some kind of awareness that it might not be as strong as like the human one.
Yeah, because there's some animals that
they know that they exist. That I am a thing. Like I don't know what you are. Like. Because they don't have the same thing. Like we sit here and we put names on things, and this is a cat, this is a dog. It didn't come here.
Certain animals don't have the IQ to see themselves subjectively.
Yeah.
That's why animals don't commit suicide. The animals don't like.
Yeah, they do. They mutilate.
There's no suicide. There's no animal that gets like depressed and kills themselves.
Yeah, because they're aware that
hedgehogs.
Hedgehogs don't kill themselves.
Yeah,
yes, they do.
Show me.
Yeah, look it up. That's why, like, I remember one of my girlfriends wanted a pet hedgehog, and I was looking about hedgehogs, and they commit suicide.
Well, yeah, that's the hedgehog's dilemma is that it can't get close to anything. So it knows there's another hedgehog, and it knows like as cold as we get, we cannot get that close to each other because we will hurt each other. That's the hedgehog's dilemma. But it's showing that it is aware that there is life and that it is capable of hurting and taking something else from another thing that is here. I think we are putting our own terms on there's no way a cat could never know. Like, no, they know. But there's trees, there's all kinds of living things that know what they do, and when they exist, they're just not the fucking most aware as we are.
Is self-mutilation suicide?
No.
It's not?
No. Life has to be taken for it to be suicide.
I'm talking about like animals making the decision to take their own life.
That's not self-mutilation?
No, mutilation is just hurting yourself. Like, it's like hurting, scarring, maiming your own self. That's more along the lines of self-mutilation.
Yeah, I remember watching like a couple of Animal Channel planets, and there's only one animal that said that. This is what they said. I don't know. This was maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. So I could be, the information could have come out new, but they said the only animal known to man that kills itself is, and they don't even think it's with the intent of killing themselves, is a mountain goat. They just be jumping off cliffs. And I think they think it's like they think they're just going to be okay.
They think they got it.
But they just be jumping off. That's one thing that I remember watching. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's everything. You become aware, and that's the thing. And I think that's the thing that makes AI scary is that like after a while, you start doing enough things and learning enough things. That's what happens. You become aware of your position and how you affect other things around you and things like that. There are some things that just don't. It doesn't make them insignificant. It's just they don't have the same level of consciousness as anything else. But it's alive. It's there. It exists.
So how does this correlate with reincarnation, you think?
I mean, I always think about the fact of what if you came back as a rock?
Yeah,
but a rock has no consciousness.
It does. A rock is not conscious as far as we know.
Honestly, I think like the reincarnation thing is like, that's me clinging on to like, damn, I really hope there's just nothing afterwards. Because then it's like, it makes life a little bit more pressureful. Or if that's not even the right way to say it, but I don't know. I think the only signs I can see.
Wait,
like,
you say like you hope that there's nothing?
No, I hope that there is something.
There is something.
Yeah, like reincarnation will be convenient. You know what I mean? Like,
but I feel like that's when I got more comfortable with the idea of death, not in like idea of like putting death on anyone else, but like the idea of like my own death is when I realized like, yo, what happened before I got here? It was nothing.
There's nothing about that gives you a little bit of anxiety though?
No, because it wasn't that bad. I didn't have anything to be.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was nothing.
It was nothing.
Yeah, I get
it was
that.
nothing. I literally just was not here.
Yeah.
And then now I got it, and that's why it's precious because it's like, oh, this is sick.
This is yeah.
And then you go back to exactly where you came from. Everything goes back. You always go out the way you came in. Yeah. They say that in movies and in the streets and everything. Everybody goes out the same way they came in.
Yeah.
I don't know why we would think this would be any different.
Yeah.
Like we don't have any control over it. Like maybe next time you come back, you're a fucking rock. I'm not saying you can't be reincarnated.
Nobody knows what it is.
Yeah, you might be a rock. But the thing
is like, it's just, I think from birth. Like
maybe that's why you enjoy consciousness so much.
Yeah.
That's why you're holding on to it. Cause you're like, motherfucker, last time I was a rock. And I don't even know what the fuck happened or anything. Just got tossed around, thrown around.
Yo, I don't think my body is fully connected to my conscious. I feel like my body's a vessel and my consciousness is like driving the vessel.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So like I feel like I'm renting this skin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
I do feel like it does feel like that. But it's just like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Like,
we don't know. That's the fun part of talking about this. We don't fucking know. We're not scientists, you know. But a lot of people don't sit in the studio and talk about this.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're talking about Kim Kardashian. And shit.
No, but I think it's a good question. It goes back to like the point that I thought it was like, just because this being some new form of human that is being created, like, why would we think that it would be soulless? Like, it wouldn't get one, right? Like, we didn't choose
because it didn't happen naturally. There's a certain laws of nature,
bro. What?
You don't think there's like laws of like nature in life?
No, I don't think well, yes, maybe, but I think they change, right? Like, we're not still Neanderthals, right? Like, who's to say the first fucking actual like Homo sapien that popped out, people were like, oh, it's fucking soulless, it's not supposed to be here, blah blah, and it ends up being smarter, everything more conscious. Like,
laws of nature, I mean like instinctual shit, like a cat knows that it needs to eat. You get what I'm saying? You put shit in your mouth and you don't have to learn that.
Bro, we used to have webbed hands and feet because we needed to swim more. And then somebody one day was born and didn't have the shit.
So we were born in the water?
We were not born in the water, but
that's like what?
we needed it more. Like, right? Like, there are still people who are born today with webbed hands and feet.
Yeah, there's people that's
like, because we had to swim more at a certain point. Like, maybe they're closer to what we came from.
They debunked that. That's not how it happens. Like, it's like a mutated.
You mutate. Things change.
Yeah, but it's like things happen by accident. Like, for instance, like, there are like for the giraffe thing with the fucking, what was that? There were fucking short necks giraffes before, but because all the foods that giraffes eat were all up in the air, the niggas that had short necks died.
So what if you're the first one that comes out looking like that? People are gonna be like,
that
and it's like
that happens. That's what LeBron James. Soulless. They said LeBron James is like literally a mutant.
Yeah,
he's something.
So
about
would
his
you
way
say that LeBron James is soulless based on the way he acts and everything?
No,
like,
you're not. No, that's
I'm just
totally
saying,
like.
I'm saying the means of how you get here or whatever, it can change over time.
We're talking about
we're just looking at it crazy because
synthetic embryo.
You keep using the word synthetic. The word synthetic, I think, is not used correctly in that way. I don't think it's not synthetic. It comes from human DNA. We're just manipulating DNA to create something new. It's not completely synthetic.
Kind of like how you can choose like what you want, a boy or a girl.
Yeah,
but again, we're talking about ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT on the other side of things is like it doesn't come from human DNA. It comes from human input.
No, it's a machine.
It comes from human
Someone
input.
wrote that. We wrote that.
Yeah, but it doesn't come from our DNA.
It doesn't. It's a machine.
Yeah, so and you were saying it had a conscience, right?
I'm saying that yes, a machine can become sentient at some point. Like, yeah, like it can, but is it right? We don't know. It's
killing me that Sade's not saying anything because she like digs deep into these conversations.
It can become sentient, and it could become conscious, and it could start building other machines that are conscious and aware that they are something different, but they are something, which is like the problem that we have with every time we bring up the androids and all this shit like that. It's like, are they wrong? No, like, yeah, we started this and you're just supposed to be a machine thing and now you start creating stuff and moving the world around and stuff like that. I'm the one that tells you that you're not supposed to be doing that. But you're smarter than me, you're faster than me, you're stronger than me. You're aware that you are all of these things. I play God even more and be like, no, it has no soul. That's what you like. It's like, how do we know? Like,
no, you're right. You're right. We don't know. I just think
I don't know. I think a machine though, like I guess in the sense that
that's why I think consciousness might be different from having a soul. I think it might be different. Just being conscious and aware that you exist might be different than a soul? Because
how do we? It has to be different.
Yeah,
because like, consciousness is like there's levels of consciousness.
Yeah,
and I don't know. There's people that don't think animals have souls. Like they say,
which is crazy to me.
And they say that animals share one soul.
What?
Yeah, that's like it's just there is. I'm not saying that this is what I believe.
I'm just
but
saying,
wait, how did they come about that?
That's the shit that be driving me nuts. It's like here's a high question. Like me and my nigga used to ask each other. Me and Niz, like, who was the first person to come up with words? You know what I mean? Like, who said this is a chair?
Yeah, you just start calling things.
I just need reasoning.
It's derived from.
I know the language is derived from another language, which is also derived from another. I get that, but to say like, oh, no, these things right here, they don't have souls. Everybody, they all souls in one. Like it's like
us.
What?
It's for us. We created that. A cat is not a cat. A cat is whatever being that fucking Mother Earth fucking popped out and was like, oh, we need one of these. We only know it as a cat because we needed something to call it. Because it just is. Yeah. It is. A cat doesn't really fucking know that it's a cat. Like it just is. It just is. They look at us and they think we are just big weird cats.
Yeah, for real.
You know what it reminds me of? You ever remember being a kid, right? And like there was one motherfucker that was like kind of like just like say if you're like, oh, let's play a game. And there's like, say if it's your cousin. There's like one cousin that's trying to like initiate this game. And he's just making up a game. It's not like checkers. It's not hide and seek. It's just something this motherfucker just made up, right? And as the game, like we following this game that he made up, and now he's starting to lose. Oh, you can't do that because it's shadow time and I'm protected. Like, wait, what the fuck is shadow time? Oh, you don't know? Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the root, nigga. What? Like you created this thing or these rules, and it's like now, there's no like set of rules, so it can be anything. Like it's like everything is up to interpretation. Yeah, so it's like
nature does not have.
I don't know, bro.
It doesn't have those rules. It really doesn't. We only know it as how we define it.
How we define it. That's it. Like it's really just like when it comes to souls and shit, I feel like it's what the person believes, and it's like I don't know. Like I've heard so many different interpretations, nigga. I don't know what the fuck is right.
All right, so when you meet somebody, right? And you have like an intuitive sense if they're a good person or a bad person. What is that reference coming from?
Intent. That's all I'm basing it off of. Like, what are your intentions? Right? Like, if your intentions are something that I deem, which I know is just me, like it might be a great time to someone else. I'm judging you based on how this will affect me or other people around me. That it's intent. That's what I'm judging you.
But I mean, like
what are your intentions?
Say if you just met this person and there's no there's no compilation of actions that like prove that they're like this type of way. You know what I mean? What if like you just
it's us.
You ever meet somebody and just feel like you just don't like their energy?
Yeah, because you're judging them based on intent. You're judging them based on, is this person a danger to me in some kind of way, or a danger to someone around me in some kind of way? That's what you're judging them.
Is it really fully just micro expressions, or is it really energy?
How you express yourself it's all energy. Like how you move, everything's energy.
That's what I'm saying. So
I think what we are judging off, it's danger. It's a fear, our own fears. Anything like somebody could be the best person in the world, but let's say you don't fucking, I don't know, the last time you met someone like this, something bad happened. You are judging that on your own experience. This person is not like that, but you see certain things that you saw in the last person and you're like, oh, I missed this. It's a coincidence. It's like this person is just, or a weird moment, or you might be feeling some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? It's like, sometimes I think I don't know. It's hard to explain. But it's intent, bro. We're judging everything on intent. We are trying to protect ourselves and the things around us.
I don't know. I do believe in some form of energy though.
Yeah, there has to be energy, movement, everything. When you can't separate someone's movement, their body language, the way they're saying things, what they're saying, it's all energy that they're putting forward. It's not a separate thing. Like that is intent. Intent is the energy that you put forward, whether it be physically or spiritually or anything. It's like, that's what you're putting forward. What I'm picking up, I don't like it. So I'm passing this judgment. And, you know, I think as a person, if you're going to be a good person, and you should be like, I could be wrong. But there's some people like, well, I know. It's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
You're basing this on your past experience.
Yeah.
Like, you felt this energy before and something bad happened. Yeah. And there's times where you feel like that and you're like, yo, I judged somebody way too quickly. Yeah. And it's like, this person's a good person.
It could have been, or you never know. That's like the nigga Usher made that, you remind me of a girl.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. Nah, I fuck with it. I fuck with that. Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't know.
What's up, Sade? What you got to say about all this?
What happened? Why you stop talking, Sade?
I'm just listening. I don't know. I'm just listening. I don't. So much. It's just loaded.
It is a lot. It's
not. It's just like I do this all day. Like this is okay. So I get why anyone would believe what you believe. Like, I get it. Uh-huh. My experience and my studies, like, I spent at least a good maybe 7 years as a hermit just studying this shit, like just diving into it. And as a kid, I kind of was always drawn to it. I didn't know why. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was, but I just felt things and I knew things that everything outside of me couldn't really explain. Okay. And like I said earlier in the show, I started drinking, and it was because I couldn't coexist without thinking these things that we're talking about right now. And I couldn't coexist without kind of asking these questions, whether it was in church or to family members or to friends. And nobody ever really thought that deeply. So I would say that everybody has their own individual experience. And I'm not here to determine what anyone kind of like understands or knows throughout their experience. However, through my experience, your body is like a vehicle. Mm-hmm. It's a car. Your consciousness is GPS. Your soul is the driver of your car. I would say most people, I won't say everyone, I won't say no one has a soul, but I will say a lot of people are drifters and have disconnected from their soul. So what I will say about your soul is I believe that the soul is connected to a higher power or another source outside of this sphere called Earth, and that each soul is uniquely and purposefully designed with an intention to move life forward. With that being said, your soul most definitely fucking chose who you are, who your parents are, what your body looked like, what you look like, what you would go through. It already knew what it was signing up for when it got here. You have soul family, people who are connected to you by soul, not physically. I feel that there's your family, you are born into certain families to initiate certain things, especially within this lifetime that we are existing in. I believe that my soul was here to change certain dynamics with the people in my family, with myself, in order to progress. I feel like Earth is a school that our souls chose to be here to learn certain lessons so that we can progress as souls. I don't think that we are humans. I think that we're souls having a human experience.
I agree.
I think that our souls are, like I said, I fully believe, like I was listening because I'm known to interrupt, but I wanted to fully hear what everyone thought without kind of projecting my ideology onto you guys. So, I do believe that each of our souls came here with a mission, with a vision, with a purpose. And that I would say the first half of your life, you purpose, like some of us remember, some of us kind of have like this kind of like feeling that like we've been here before. A lot of us, you'll see babies born and it's like, oh, he been here before. Mm-hmm. You know, like he's an old soul.
You ever seen a grown ass baby, bro?
So I will say that, you know, I do think that in the first, I would say the first quarter of your life, right? So I'm also in nursing school. And in nursing school, we're learning like about the body and like all the different mechanics of how the body works and chemistry. And I'm like, yo, you can't tell me that something outside of who we are exists. When you look at how each part of us is orchestrated like to a fucking T.
Yeah.
To a T, you can't tell me something didn't orchestrate that. And that's my own experience, right? So with that being said, before I even got into school, I did a couple of trips, and I don't want to go deep into it, but my physical being like literally felt like something plugged into me, and that it was almost like how do I say, it's almost like your soul can kind of like step out the vehicle. You get what I'm saying? If you ever see someone who's kind of like operating on, I guess, like they're not really like, they're conscious, but they're not kind of like walking in anything really particular, and you're kind of like, they're just whatless, they're mindless, they're bad mind, I think that they have disconnected from that source. I have come across people where I kind of questioned if they had a source at all. And that's just my experience. That's my own experience. I have come across people where I'm just like, I don't know if anybody's driving that car. You get what I'm saying? And also in my experience, my soul didn't feel necessarily like it was from here. And I remember like in one of my trips, it was like, yo, stop trying to leave. Like you got something to do. We have something for you to do. Like you came here purposefully. You knew you signed up for this shit. So fucking like wake up. And then there was like other people in that trip, and I didn't really know who they were. And it was like, they're the same. They're the same, but they sleep. And you can't shake them up. You know how like if somebody's sleepwalking, you can't shake them up. If you shake them up, they're kind of it's gonna create a turmoil. So it's like you kind of gotta let them take their own journey. So that's why I didn't really interrupt you guys, because it's like I didn't want to interrupt your train of thought by insisting on mine. I don't want people to think like me. I feel like every single last one of us is on their own journey and will figure out what they need to figure out when they need to figure it out. And it's not for me to force them to figure it out. But I will say that people have come to me and asked me to assist them figuring it out. And I do believe that with the whole what was he saying? The clones or the babies that they're making. I do feel like they're kind of just like playing God. And even if they were to pick a soul and they were force a soul in this body, it would kind of be somewhat of a disruption because it was forced. And I feel like the way things happen on earth are every single thing is for a reason. So even if a soul is forced into a being that it shouldn't be in, it could turn out really, really bad. I think it could turn out really bad. And But I also think there's a purpose. Like, I won't say bad. I will say like a lower vibrational versus a higher vibrational. And I also said, as I said before, I feel like every single thing has its purpose. And I feel like human beings love playing God.
Yeah,
I feel like human beings love trying to play source. I feel like, and we see it like we were talking about COVID and all the other stuff kind of happening here on earth. I feel like we can play as much as we want, but there's something outside of ourselves that we don't have no control over, that will regulate. And we'll wipe all this shit the fuck out, and we'll choose. I don't feel like everyone, and I said this before in a previous episode when we was just like, will humans still exist in a certain amount of years? And I believe that we do, because I believe that there's some of us here that are meant to move, that are meant to move things along, that are meant to nurture, that are here with a certain purpose. So I feel like humans are just so fucking egotistical. They keep trying to play with shit that they don't understand. Like you said, oh, we don't have enough data. Like, I can look it up and it's like, oh, we don't know for sure. But they'll try to create something, trying to mirror something that somebody outside of them created, and they don't know how they create it, but we could create it. So if we create it, then we just as good. So why the fuck do we need a God if we can do that shit ourselves? I'm sorry, but I just feel like that's not something we should be playing with. And that's just me. And as far as AI, I feel like there are beings that we aren't aware of, that we don't know about, that have been assisting humanity all this time. And I feel like humans keep trying to fucking do that shit themselves. And we are, compared to the level of consciousness that we possibly could be, we're fucking babies. We're babies. Agree. So I feel like humans, I'm not even going to say it, but certain humans think they're above certain entities. And I'm sorry, but we're just on 3D. And we all know that this is a 3D earth. There's 4D, there's 5D, there's 6D, there's 7D. We can go up and up and up. We don't know what the fuck we're playing with. And you just said, and we can look it up, these niggas don't know what they're playing with. They're playing with fucking dark matter. They're playing with shit they don't know about. And they're trying, and I get, like, as humans, we have this consciousness and we have this kind of like brain that wants to think and that's curious and wants to know. But it's just like, knowing for the sake of knowing to push humanity forward is one thing, but knowing for the sake of like trying to fucking outdo the source that created all of this shit, that's another thing. And I kind of feel like it's just like certain things shouldn't be meddled with. And when you try to force certain components together, you just like, of course, like anything in a lower vibrational can always, with a consciousness and with a soul, can absolutely gain a higher, kind of like understanding, and can absolve itself, because we can. However, I just feel like it's just certain. Have you ever heard of do you know where the term Cabbage Patch Kids came from?
No.
Mm-mm.
So basically these fucking scientists, there was a bunch of kids that were just like, they were just orphan kids, like during I think it was like World War I, maybe. I might be wrong. But there was a certain world war where there was a bunch of fucking abandoned kids. So they took these kids and they're like, hey, we're going to bring you to this place and there's lots of land. They're like, we're going to take care of you. You just have to build, like, they put them to work and they build a community for these kids. So these kids are there. And then after a while, they take the oldest kids who have hit puberty, the boys and the girls, and they start mating them. So they're like, oh, we want to make babies faster. So we want to make babies faster because people are buying these kids. They're putting the babies that the older kids are having, and they're putting them in incubators and creating these babies. So they're like, okay, once these girls get to gestation, which is like 4 months, let's take the babies out of them and then make them mate again so that they can have more babies. So we can produce babies twice as fast. These babies were being produced at a rate, and they ended up like, people were giving the babies back. The people, they were like, they called them the dark-eyed children, and they were scared of them and they were haunting them, and they appeared to be soulless because they were creating them at a rate that was unnatural. If you kind of read certain texts, you'll understand that like a lot of our ancestors, they purposefully made it at certain times because let's say they had a bunch of Scorpio children. It's because war was coming and they needed a bunch of warriors. Do you get what I'm saying? Like every creation was kind of like intentional and for a reason. And it coincided with the cycles of the earth. So it's like, okay, the earth is heading here. We need to create this. So it was with more respect. I feel like creating a child from fucking DNA cells and just out of nowhere, just because you want to see if you fucking create. I'm sorry. I feel like it's a little bit of a dangerous game to play.
Was there a reason for them to do that? They didn't say it was like for
like think about it. We live in a world where money rules everything.
But
so a lot of it's corporal. It's like there's people who can't make babies, so let's make these babies for these people who can't make babies. What's the quickest way? Just like with anything else, what's the quickest way that we can make a baby? What's the quickest way we can make a baby so we can get this bread? And that's dangerous.
So I agree wholeheartedly with a lot of stuff that you said. Most of it, probably like 97%. But like, I think to play devil's advocate, I'm like, how do we know that it's like not part of like our purpose to kind of like push it forward sometimes, right? Like if it comes, I'll keep using the word intent, with good intent, we are pushing this forward.
When have the people who are designing this shit ever had good intentions? Let me ask you that.
You can't, there's no way you could determine that.
Really?
I just don't.
Really? Have you seen what
if we stopped everything, we would technologically be so far from where we are right now.
Nigga, we are far behind. What do you mean? There was shit that was
that's just
listen,
not true. Like,
have you ever read about ancient Kemet? Have you ever read about Native American stories? How the fuck were the pyramids built? How the fuck were the pyramids built? Egg salad, my nigga.
I'm saying, but there's probably somebody who was doing that and they were saying like, oh, look at him.
What I'm
playing
saying,
God, or look at her playing God.
But see,
it's like I get it. Like if you're doing it for the money, for this and that, like I get it. Like, yeah, like that is fucking terrible. But to put limiters on ourselves and say like, oh, like we can't push things forward because nature says we can't. If nature really said we can't, we would be a lot fucking dumber. We would be incapable of doing it. A cat can't do it. We can.
I don't think
like,
that's what this is.
Hey, can I do a little tangent real quick? Yo, so like the other day, this is kind of on the same par, but not really. The other day, me and my shorties having like, them late night like existential crisis motherfucking conversations, and it's thinking like, yo, when the man has, when he busts a nut, it's like million fucking sperms just fighting to get to the goddamn egg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just made me think like, you ever had your kid, your parents be like, oh, you could have been a girl, like, or you could have been somebody else, right? So I looked it up. And
you were chosen. That sperm chose you.
Yeah, but so here's what I was gonna say though, like, if it said, well, this is what it said on fucking Google and ChatGPT. If another sperm would have made it to the egg, I wouldn't exist as a person. Another complete being would exist. And that just kind of blew. And this is like, again, I have no point to this. I'm just saying, I thought that shit blew my fucking mind.
But you do know.
I felt sad. I'm like, damn,
but you do know the egg
that don't exist because of me.
No, but do you know the egg? Do you know the egg chooses? Do you know the egg chooses?
Fast as fuck. The egg chooses.
The egg chooses which sperm impregnates it. There's a what's the name video? What's his name? What's his fucking name? I love him.
Nature. That's just like survival, though, right?
But this is what I'm saying. Like all of this is purposeful and intentional because there's something that exists inside of you that needs to exist. Only you can create it. We all have one fingerprint.
I disagree.
We all have one fingerprint.
I think it's a little more chaotic than you're giving it credit for.
That's sometimes how I think.
I think it's like, a little more chaotic. I think a lot of it, like a good amount of this shit,
I think chaotic
is fucking random. Like it's just fucking random. Like, is it a science of like how it works? Yes. Do we have any fucking thing to do with it? Is it like super duper, like it's purposeful to an extent? I think there's a lot more chaos involved than we like to give credit to.
Chaos creates structure. Of course there's chaos. Chaos is a part of it. This is what I'm trying to say. Even the fucked up parts, like even these creations that people are making, they're a part of it. There's a learning. I'm not saying that there's nothing I can do about it existing. I can't say that it existing is inherently wrong. I'm just saying that there's something up with that. They're touching shit they shouldn't be touching.
I agree with that.
But what I'm saying is, with that being said, something's going to come from that. We're going to learn it. It might be a fucking hard lesson. I'm telling you.
Or it might change the fucking world.
Or it might. But what I'm saying,
why are we looking at it so negatively? Because
who's
it's not
looking
us.
at it? Who's looking at it negatively? I didn't look at it negatively.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general.
Because what you don't know, you're inherently afraid of. Exactly. That's why you won't why people won't say, "Oh, there's a soul." Because if there's a soul, then I might be going to hell. Like it's just a part of the human experience is figuring this all out. And what I'm saying is, some people,
I don't even think figuring it out is a part of it. I think a lot of it is fucking just experiencing it.
It is. But part of experiencing is figuring out that we're here to fucking experience it and push it along.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think a lot of things are created in the way they end up being the way that they are because it's meant to be that way. It's supposed to push things forward. And I think sometimes we take a lot away from ourselves by being like, oh, we're playing God. It's like, no, we're not playing God. Like, we are kind of pushing things forward in a good way a lot of times. But if you have this old paradigm way of thinking, a lot of this shit would never happen because you would be scared. We would still be calling people fucking, she's a witch. Like, nah. Burn her at the stake. Why? Because she's practicing medicine?
Yeah,
but they still say it.
I know.
It's crazy
it's
because
an accepted thing now is medicine. It would not have been pushed.
It's really not.
Use all these fucking.
It's really not. People are getting
herbs
killed.
and essential oils. This is what I'm saying. Like in holistic healing.
That's the most natural thing. But why? So why are holistic doctors dying all over the place? Why are whistleblowers dying all over the place?
Yeah,
why? Because if you said certain shit.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't want that shit to be known.
That's what I'm saying.
They want you to believe in the scientists. They want you to believe in fucking cloning and shit like that. Yeah. Okay, is that moving things forward? But creating beings is not nothing new. It's like they've been created. Fucking Anunnaki fucking created the fucking you don't want me to go there. This shit, but that shit don't never go right. And that's exactly why we are where we are.
I'm saying in terms of nature and shit, perhaps we were meant to push things forward. That's why we're not the biggest. We're not the strongest. Of
course we're meant to push things forward.
We are still apex. Why? Because we have brains. We have a higher level of consciousness than a lot of other things we think have.
And there's something that has a higher consciousness than us.
So I'm saying I'm not saying manipulating shit to an extent for fucking personal gain is what you should do it. But I'm saying we wouldn't be able to do it a lot of times if it wasn't supposed to happen.
So I'm gonna check it from right there, right? Let it everybody in the comments put a 1 if you agree with Sade. Put a 2 if you agree with Ty's point of view, right? I'm gonna cut it right there. Let us know if you guys think we should have a part 2.
I don't think we're disagreeing at all.
Yeah, but there's still 2 different perspectives. Or just put in the comments what perspective you guys really coincide with. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna cut it right there. We're gonna maybe we'll have it part 2. Maybe we'll just keep it moving, but I'm going to cut it right there. That's another episode of IC. Sean Johnson, Sade Renee, OS Steph.
Namaste.
Ty and Legend. Yo, you already know what time it is, nigga.
You do.